Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before getting into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's jump straight into it. So let's kick off with a couple of things from Ruben Amorim's press conference that I've just watched. So firstly, injury news ahead of the game. Leacher is out. Casemiro is out because of the red card. Ahmed is not here because someone in his family passed away. We're giving all the support to Ahmed and understand he needed to return home. So condolences for the loss there for Ahmed. Ahmed out of the game because of a family bereavement, and obviously family comes first. That's absolutely the right thing to do, and condolences for the loss. That's a difficult time for Ahmed. Did he not recently lose like his mum as well? Is that right? So he's been through a bit of a rough time with family and bereavements and stuff as well. But so Leacher out. Casemiro obviously we know is suspended anyway, but then also later on he did confirm that Mazraoui is also out. So he will not be back until the international break as well. So Mazraoui is not just out of the game tomorrow, but also out of next week's game against Sunderland as well, which is a little bit concerning because he's obviously missed the start of the season, came back, now injured again. Are we starting to see the Mazraoui that we were worried about that we'd signed from Bayern with his injury record? We'll have to obviously have to wait and see how he comes back and how serious the injury is as well, but that's a bit of a blow. So Dalot it is. Dalot's just come back from training, so it's going to be Dalot and Dorgu, isn't it? Unless he does something, weird like changing the formation and going to a back four. That's not going to happen. Or potentially Mbeumo, could he play at the right wing-back position, play Mount Cunha, Sesko? Unlikely. So it's going to be Dalot, isn't it, I suspect, until Ahmed comes back, which is a shame because obviously, family comes first and heart goes out to Ahmed going through that time. But I was hoping to see Ahmed right wing back and Mbeumo, Sesko, Cunha up front. I want to see that dynamic and how it works, but not to be. With plenty of time in the season though as well. But yeah, that's a bit of a concern. I think Mazraoui and his injury record so far this season. But on Ahmed later on, Amorim did say we are here for him. It's a tough moment, and in this kind of moment, the next game is not important. We can win without Ahmed, and we want to win also for him as well, which I thought was a nice message to Ahmed as well. And it's just a shame that he's obviously been getting dogs abuse online as well this week because he's friends with Garnacho, which infuriates me, that sort of nonsense. But and it just shows life's short, isn't it? So but yeah, wish him all the best, Ahmed. Now, interestingly, I picked up this from the rest of the press conference. So this is when he was asked. He was kind of asked directly, basically saying that fans don't trust the team to play 2 games back-to-back, or don't trust the team to win games back-to-back at the moment as well, because obviously we've never done it under Ruben Amorim. It's been ages since we've actually won consecutive games in a row, where you do worry and wonder what Man United team is going to turn up, and there's no consistency in that. And Amorim himself, worryingly, also said the same thing. He said, I don't say playing well because I think we've done that, but it's normal. The fans don't know what is going to happen the next game. To be honest, I have an idea, but I don't know how it's going to be, and I'm the manager of the team. So Amorim himself basically saying, look, I have an idea of how we're going to play and what he's expecting from the team, but even he doesn't know what team are going to turn up, which does beg the question again, because this isn't just a Ruben Amorim issue in my mind. This was the same under Erik ten Hag as well. It's been going on for years, where you just do not know what type of performance or result we're going to get. I think the performances, though, I think Ruben Amorim is right in what he's saying. I think generally the performances have been better back to back, but just not the results. But we just can't sustain that performance for the full games as well. And these players are capable of turning it on and off like a tap. And even Amorim's like, I don't even know what team are going to turn up, and he's the head coach. He went on to say the best way of dealing with that is approaching every game like it's the last one. I understand the feeling of the fans, so let's start changing that feeling to present ourselves with the urgency of what we need to do on the pitch. So he is going back to what he was saying after the Chelsea game, is that we need to have that urgency to win in order to win as well. And I think that's what he's trying to install, which does suggest to me as well that Amorim is very concerned that there is still a weak mentality in the team and in the squad, whereby they can turn up for certain games, and then we're capable of doing a Grimsby, and he's trying to get that out of the team. But there's only so much a manager can do. It's down to the players ultimately. But yeah, give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I am sure that you will. Now let's go through some other news. So this came out from one of the worst sources of information out there regarding Kobbie Mainoo. So for Charhez, are saying that Barcelona are eyeing a January loan move for Manchester United's Kobbie Mainoo as a temporary replacement for Gavi. But for Charhez are one of the worst sources of information out there as well. They're about as reliable as cheap toilet paper, in my opinion. But there was a really good piece actually that came out from the Sun. Did I actually say that? Good piece and Sun together. I'm going to go down and have words with myself after this video for saying that out loud. But so it came from the Sun saying Kobbie Mainoo being put through intense training by Ruben Amorim, in major hint he still has Man United future. So in the piece it said that Kobbie Mainoo is being put through intense training sessions by Ruben Amorim to revive his Manchester United career. Amorim must replace the suspended Casemiro for tomorrow's Prem trip to Brentford, and Sunsport understands the 20-year-old is pushing hard for the number 6 role alongside Bruno Fernandes. A source said Ruben has been working with Kobbie on his defensive plays and skills, talking with him a lot about defensive commitment in order to try him alongside Bruno at some point. Kobbie also has the ability to play as a number 6, which is important since Casemiro's had some ups and downs, will be suspended, and Manuel Ugarte hasn't fully convinced Amorim yet. So that's interesting from the Sun, suggesting that Ruben Amorim's been working with Kobbie Mainoo to try to see if he can get him to be a little bit more defence-minded in order, with the aim to maybe play him next to Bruno as well. Some of you will agree with that from comments on previous videos as well. I would be interested to see how that dynamic would work. I would massively worry about the defensive side of things as well, because sometimes not tracking runners into the box and doing all that thing is an issue with Bruno and Casemiro there, or Bruno and Ugarte there, and Casemiro and Ugarte are a lot more defence-minded than Mainoo. But there might come a time when you need it. If you want a bit more control in a game, like if you're home to Sunderland next weekend, for example, could that be the opportunity to see that dynamic? We'll have to wait and see. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Mainoo, number 6 next to Bruno. Good option, good shout, bad shout. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, obviously, sticking with the midfield and the problem that we have in the midfield, and we know that it is going to be an area that we are looking for in the transfer market as a way to solve that issue. The main player we're linked with is Carlos Baleba. Graham Bailey has had the following to say: United are already well advanced with their planning for 2026, and midfield is the priority. United have done work in this area, and Baleba is the man who they really think is ideal. They are fans of the likes of Adam Wharton, Conor Gallagher, Morton Hulman. Let's not rule out them bringing in 2. Baleba has endured a tough start, but with an injury and links to United, there is little concern that he remains the best option in the long term. So Graham Bailey stating the obvious really is that we want to go for a midfielder in 2026. Carlos Baleba is still seen as the midfielder that we want, regardless of the tough start that he's had to this season. Obviously, if it continues between now and like January or into this full season, I'd imagine there'd be question marks at the end of the season. But apparently, they're not concerned about that, and he remains the best option in the long term as well. So Carlos Baleba is still, according to Graham Bailey, the top choice. And the other names mentioned there, Adam Wharton, Conor Gallagher, Morton Hulman, are some of the names that we have been linked with as well. Like Morton Hulman, heavily linked with in the summer. Conor Gallagher, we made a loan inquiry about. Adam Wharton seems to be one that potentially we could be looking at and bringing in 2. I mean, Baleba and Wharton wouldn't be a bad shout, or Baleba and Anderson. Yeah. Interesting. Let's keep an eye on that one. Give us your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Now, we have actually already signed a midfielder in the last couple of days in the youngster Cristian Orozco. So Manchester United and Ineos Group's idea for 17-year-old Cristian Orozco is for him to continue his professional development at Colombia club Fortaleza. Transfer fee is around $1 million. He turns 18 on July 13th. So that was the same South American reports that broke the story originally, saying that we paid $1 million for Orozco, and that he's obviously going to stay on loan until he's 18 years of age as well. That's insane, isn't it? For like, when was the last time? It's like Sekou Kone all over, isn't it? Paid £1 million for Sekou Kone, I think, and that looks like exactly what we've done with this kid. Now, there was an interesting piece that came out actually in the Mail, which I wanted to run through. So they were saying that Cristian Orozco is the latest example of Manchester United's drive to unearth raw talent from around the globe. If justification was needed for recruiting one of Colombia's rising stars, then look no further than Moises Caicedo. United led the chase for Caicedo nearly 5 years ago, but didn't commit to signing the teenage midfielder from Ecuador. Brighton brought him from the from Independent Deville at £4 million and sold Caicedo to Chelsea 2.5 years later for a then British record £115 million. So what they were alluding to is that this is, very similar circumstances to Caicedo. We were leading the chase and leading the race for Caicedo, pulled out, didn't get the deal done for what was around £4 million. And then obviously now Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, and went for £150 million. Not that we would have sold him, but we'd have had a very good player for £4 million on our hands, because, or if we, did want to sell him, if another team did come in and you flip that sort of profit, then brilliant, as long as you spend it wisely, I suppose. But yeah, this is like, and so what they were alluding to is that this is a change in tactic from United, because in the past we wouldn't have bothered going for Orozco because he wasn't a ready-made player, wouldn't sell shirt, and commercially isn't right for the club as it would have been previously under Ed Woodward and John Murtaugh and people like that. Whereas this is now actually, no, we're going to go out and get these young gems, sign them cheap, and then hopefully develop them. And if they turn out to be good, then you've done a really good bit of business. If they turn out to be medium, you can sell them for more than $1 million, I'm sure, and make some money off of it as well. The report goes on to say, though, that while there are no guarantees whatsoever that Orozco can be the next Caicedo, it goes some way to explaining why United have intensified their search for young talent since Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority takeover last year. By creating a pool of talent recruited from around the world, United hope to not only continue supplying the first team, but also make some sound investments in much the same way that City and Chelsea have benefited financially in recent years. So Chris Wheeler alluding to that as well, basically saying that, look, if it's worth taking a punt on these youngsters for those cheap prices, because even if they don't turn out to be that good, we can probably make money on them in the long term as well, which is exactly the PSR rules. That's what we have to do going forward in order to maintain or to keep up with the rest of the teams that are doing exactly the same thing. City, Chelsea, are selling their youngsters for a lot of money but buying them in on the cheap as well, and that seems to be the business model they're going down, which I'm not against. Actually, I think it's about time, because we used to be all over this sort of stuff, and when Ed Woodward and that were in charge, it just totally went out the window, because they were just wanting to sign superstars and throw money away like Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now let's go through the rest of the news. So, So, interestingly, Ben Jacobs has said that signing a wing-back is a priority for Ruben Amorim, but the recruitment team believe they can wait. So this was really interesting, actually, picking up on a point from Ben Jacobs in a recent interview, where he was saying that actually the priority for Amorim was a wing-back as well, but obviously we know we've strengthened the attack. And I like that, because I know there's a criticism to say, well, we should be signing, doing things for what the manager wants and setting them up for success. But that's also been part of our downfall as well, because we've signed players for a manager. That manager then loses his job, and then we're stuck in a mess where we've got players that the next manager doesn't want, and then you have to sell those to buy new players as well. And that's why it's created like the zombie squad that we've got almost, where we've still got players that Van Gaal signed and Mourinho signed and all of this like over the years, because they were signed to play a specific way. Whereas this is the recruitment is being club led as well as the manager. So the manager has a say on which players he wants to sign, but it's the club that are ultimately buying players that they think can fit any system or any philosophy going forward. Because if we do have to change the manager in the future, we haven't then got four wing backs that can't play in a traditional 4-3-3 or a different formation. Because then if we bring in another manager in, what they're doing is just looking at it objectively and say, well, no, actually, we're recruiting good players that can play in any system and can play in different positions. as a recruitment strategy going forward. Yes, Amorim has the final say or has a say on it, because they're not going to sign a manager players that he doesn't want to play or doesn't agree with, because that's just stupidity. But it's a change in tactic from what we're used to, rather than going out and just buying everything that the manager wants and then sacking the manager, and then you're stuck with a squad that you then have to get rid of and reshape. We're actually doing it smartly, in my opinion, saying, no, actually, no, Amorim, we think you've got enough at wing-back. We want to prioritise the attack and go out and buy those sort of positional next. Actually, yeah, we know you need a wing-back, but we'd rather go and concentrate on signing midfielders and whatever the position is. So I like that approach from United personally, but some of you might disagree with that. And you're welcome to let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Let's go through the Harry Maguire news. So the Sun was saying that Manchester United are willing to keep Harry Maguire beyond this season, provided he agrees a new deal on reduced wages. He currently earns around £190,000 per week. There is a few rumourings or murmurings around Harry Maguire potentially getting given another contract. Yes, we're going to need to reduce his salary, because that's not befitting of a player that's not necessarily a guaranteed starter, and with his age as well, there's a concern regarding that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens regarding that. And then, but if not, he's going to be gone in the summer, and we're going to need to buy a replacement. And one player that could be the replacement, obviously, we were linked with Brantwaite the other day, but Bremer's come back as a blast from the past as well. Player that we've been linked with in the past, not so much recently. But Tuto Juve is saying that Manchester United are keen on Bremer from Juventus. They need a long-term replacement for Harry Maguire, and the experienced Brazilian could be the ideal acquisition. I'm not entirely convinced. I'll wait and see. I'd want to wait and see a bit more credibility than where that story is coming from, but could possibly be, a decent centre half to bring in as a replacement for Maguire if he does go. And then picking up with the rest of the news. So going back to buying young players and doing all that stuff. United are potentially about to sign another one. So Manchester United is set to sign teenage goalkeeper Charlie Hardy from Derby County. Hardy will sign scholarship terms at United after receiving Premier League ratification to join. The 16-year-old goalkeeper played for Derby's under-18s last season and represented England's under-16 side. Hardy is expected to play for United's under-18s, who are coached by former midfielder Darren Fletcher. Scholarship deals are offered to promising young players and represent a milestone on the way to potentially being offered a professional contract, which can be signed at 17 years old. So United are also going in for another young goalkeeper as well. And it's weird because, it seems like the main transfer window's done, but United are still working on getting these youngsters in within this time, which I find really exciting as well, especially, like I said, if you can have some of them make it, or at least if some of them, turn out to be half decent, then it helps us from a PSR perspective as well. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video. That's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.